Before there was Egypt, before there was murder, there was a battlefield. It is 1914, the trenches of Belgium are a hell of mud and gas. A young soldier, a farmer by trade, leads his men across no man's land. His name is Hercule Poirot. He does not use a sword, he uses his mind, he reads the flight of birds to predict the wind. He saves his company. But war does not reward cleverness. It takes. A mortar round explodes, the young soldier survives, but when he looks at his reflection in the water, he sees a face torn by shrapnel. He sees the future he lost. She was a nurse named Catherine, she loved him anyway, and in a quiet moment, she gave him a gift, a small, absurd vanity. Catherine says, "Do you have any idea how love works? When you love someone, you love them through all their moods. Their flaws become freckles. She say, you'll grow a mustache." He did, he grew it to hide the scars, but he never stopped wearing it, even after the war ended, even after Catherine was gone. Now, 2 decades later, Poirot is the greatest detective in the world, but he has not loved again. He is about to board a steamer on the Nile, he thinks he is taking a holiday, he is wrong. Because love is the most dangerous weapon of all. London, a nightclub called the Audubon, the room is full of smoke, champagne, and sequins. On stage, a blues singer named Salome Audubon bends over a microphone, her voice like honey and rust. And the audience, 3 figures move through the crowd like planets caught in the same gravity. The first is Jacqueline Belfort, dark-eyed, sharp-witted, trembling with the force of her own devotion, she is engaged to a man she believes is her soulmate. The second is Simon Doyle. Tall, square-jawed, a man who looks like he was carved from oak, he is not clever, but he is beautiful, and when Jacqueline dances with him, she looks at him as if he hung the moon. The third, she enters late, and the room holds its breath. Lynette Ridgway, heiress. Icon, the richest woman in England, Gal Gadot's diamond smile, when she walks, the world rearranges itself to make room for her, she is Jacqueline's oldest friend. And she is about to ruin everything. Jacqueline brings Simon to Lynette for one reason, to give him a job. She trusts her friend, she believes Lynette has everything, money, beauty, power, why would she want a poor estate manager? But Lynette looks at Simon, and Simon looks at Lynette. And Jacqueline watches. 6 weeks later, Jacqueline's engagement is broken, Simon Doyle has married Lynette Ridgway. Jacqueline does not scream, she does not throw things, she follows them, first to Egypt, she appears at their hotel lobby, their dinner table, their honeymoon suite door. She is always there, a ghost made of fury. When Poirot first sees the 3 of them together in Cairo, he murmurs to his friend Book. The Doyles try to escape, they book a private steamer, the Karnak, hoping to sail down the Nile in peace, they invite their friends, Lynette's cousin Andrew, who is hiding a financial disaster, a doctor who treats the rich, Salome Audubon, the singer, and her niece Rosalie, who manages her. But when the Karnak casts off from the dock, Jacqueline de Belfort stands on the pier, she holds a small suitcase, and a gun. She boards the ship. There is no escape now. The Karnak glides past the temples of Abu Simbel, the pyramids rising like teeth from the sand, Kenneth Branagh's camera loves the gold light, the champagne flutes, the white linen, but beneath the luxury, something coils. Poirot watches from his deck chair, he sees the passengers as pieces on a board. There is Andrew Kachadurian, Lynette's cousin and lawyer, he is too eager, too nervous, he has been stealing from her for years, and if she discovers the truth, he is ruined. There is Dr. Linus Windlesham, a man who once loved Lynette and still carries the wound of her rejection, he is kind, but kindness can curdle. And there is Salome Audubon, the blues singer, in this adaptation, she is not a washed-up novelist, she is a legend, proud, sexual, unafraid, her niece Rosalie protects her with a ferocity that hints at secrets. But the true storm is Jacqueline, on the second night, she corners Simon in the salon, she is drunk, she is weeping, she is holding the pistol. Simon lunges for the gun, it goes off, he collapses, blood soaking through his trousers, Jacqueline screams, a sound of triumph and horror combined. In the chaos, Cornelia, a shy cousin of a wealthy socialite, helps drag Jacqueline to her cabin, a nurse sedates her, the gun is missing. Everyone assumes Jacqueline shot Simon in a jealous rage, but Poirot notices something. Simon's wound is real, but his eyes are not afraid, they are waiting. The next morning, Louise Bourget, Lynette's maid, opens the cabin door. She finds Lynette Ridgway Doyle lying on her bed, a single bullet hole in her temple, her pearl necklace, worth a fortune, gone. Jacqueline Belfort is the obvious killer, but she was sedated all night, she never left her cabin. Poirot looks at the passengers, at their trembling hands, at their alibis, and he says the words that chill the room. Poirot says, "No one leaves this ship, the killer is among us." Poirot interviews everyone. He is not kind, he is a scalpel wrapped in a Belgian accent. The maid Louise knows something, but she is scared. The cousin Andrew sweats when asked about money. Salome Audubon saw someone near Lynette's cabin that night, but she drinks, and no one believes her. And then, a second murder. Louise Bourget is found in her quarters, her throat cut, clutched in her hand, a torn banknote. She was blackmailing the killer, and she paid with her life. Poirot stands over her body, his mustache twitches. Poirot says, "The killer is desperate, desperate people make mistakes." The investigation takes a darker turn. A third victim, Salome Audubon. She had just told Poirot she knew who killed Louise. Before she could say the name, a bullet tore through the doorway. She died in her niece's arms, the blues going silent forever. Poirot now has 3 bodies, a ship full of suspects, and no police for 1,000 miles. He gathers everyone in the grand salon. The chandeliers glitter, the Nile laps against the hull, the sun sets over the desert, painting the room red. And Poirot begins to speak. Poirot says, "I have been foolish, I looked for a complicated answer, but the truth is simple, it is always simple." He turns to Simon Doyle, who sits in a wheelchair, his leg bandaged. Poirot says, "You are not the victim, Monsieur Doyle, you are the murderer." The salon erupts, but Poirot raises his hand. He explains, Jacqueline's gunshot was a performance. She shot Simon, but she aimed for his leg, knowing the wound would incapacitate him. While everyone rushed to help her, Simon limped to Lynette's cabin, shot her, then returned to the salon and shot himself a second time, to make the wound convincing. The missing gun. Wrapped in a shawl and thrown overboard, the letter J on the wall. A frame-up, the blackmail. Louise saw Simon leaving Lynette's cabin. And Salome. She saw Jacqueline leaving Louise's cabin. Simon and Jacqueline never stopped loving each other. The marriage to Lynette was a lie, a plot to steal her fortune. Simon would inherit, then he would reunite with Jacqueline. Poirot says, "You planned to kill her on your honeymoon, while she slept beside you." Simon says, "She stole everything from us." Poirot says, "She stole a man who was never hers to take. You are both monsters wearing the masks of lovers." Jacqueline de Belfort listens to all of this in silence. Her face is pale, but when Poirot finishes, she does not weep, she does not beg for mercy, she walks to Simon, she kisses him, and then she reaches into her beaded handbag. Poirot sees the truth 1 second too late. Poirot says, "Madam, no." Jacqueline has a second pistol, a secret she kept even from Simon. She presses it to his heart and pulls the trigger, then she turns it on herself. They fall together, their blood mingles on the Persian carpet. In death, they are finally united, the way they always wanted. Poirot stands over them. He has solved the crime, but he feels no triumph, only a cold, familiar grief. He thinks of Catherine, of the trenches, of the nurse who told him love meant accepting flaws. He whispers to no one. Poirot says, "Love is not supposed to look like this." The Karnak docks at Cairo, the passengers disembark in silence, the police take the bodies, the pearl necklace is found, hidden in Jacqueline's luggage all along. Hercule Poirot stands on the pier, watching the steamer drift away. His mustache is immaculate, his suit is pressed, but his eyes are far away. He came to Egypt to escape the past. Instead, he found a mirror. On the battlefield, he learned that death is random. Here, on the Nile, he learned that death is also deliberate, a choice made by people who confuse obsession with love. He touches his mustache, Catherine's gift, her voice echoes in his memory. Catherine says, "Do you have any idea how love works?" He turns his back on the river, he walks toward the city. There is always another case, another mystery, another reason to keep moving. But the Nile will remember, the desert will remember. And so will we.